Josh at Bane Tech, and I want to do a comparison video of performance and different variables between the iPhone 5, the 5S, and the Moto X. Now, just a little bit of background information. These are on the Verizon network as far as the 5S goes, and the Moto X. This is a Verizon phone, but regardless, they're all connected to the same network, which is my Wi-Fi. So it's connected to the same Wi-Fi. Brightness settings are all the way up. There's no performance enhancers. This is stock Android with some like exposed framework modules just for looks, nothing performance wise. None of the iPhones are jailbroken or anything like that. First of all, I just kind of want to look at the actual, you can see the screen differences. Let me go to a wider screen. Let me go to the browser on the Moto X. Show you the differences between the screens. It definitely seems like the iPhone 5S has a brighter, more crisper screen than these two guys have. They're somewhat almost the same, it looks like. Now, some more background info is that these two iPhones are on the latest iOS 7.0.6. This is Android 4.4.2. Specs wise with the iPhones, basically there's not too much of a difference. The display is 326 ppi Retina display. The processor on the iPhone 5S is the Apple 64-bit A7 processor. The iPhone 5 has a dual-core 1.3 gigahertz A6 processor. The operating system is the same, iOS 7, with the new update, the iOS 7.0.6. Now the cameras, the iPhone 5S has an 8 megapixel rear camera with an autofocus dual LED flash with 1.5 micron pixel size, 1.2 megapixels up front. Now on the iPhone 5 there's an 8 megapixel as well, but autofocus and LED is almost the same but just different. The iPhone 5 has the 8 megapixel rear camera with autofocus and LED flash, 1.2 megapixel front facing camera. Along with the processor, the addition to the built-in fingerprint scanner is basically the bigger improvement and so forth. Battery, the stock battery for a second, the iPhone 5S has 10 hours talk time, iPhone 5 has 8. Storage, basically your 16, 32, and 64 gigs. And those are the basic specs about them. They have the same screen size, 4 inches and so forth. As far as the Moto X is concerned, it's a 4.7 inch HD AMOLED screen which has 316 ppi. It's got a 1.7 gigahertz Snapdragon S4 Pro dual core with 8 times mobile computing, so it's got a different kind of processor on it. The Moto X, basically it's got these different cores that have like assignments that they have. Not all the cores concentrate on one task at a time, so it's a different little setup than normal. Now it's got 2 gigs of RAM. It's got a 10 megapixel rear camera, clear pixel RGBC with a 2 megapixel front. The battery is 2200 milliamp hours. You get 24 hours usage. As far as the iPhone 5 and the 5S batteries go, it's the iPhone 5S has a 1558 milliamp hour and the iPhone 5 has a 1440. So with all that said, all the specs kind of out of the way, this basic specs and things like that, there's your comparison and versus and so forth. But I want to kind of get into the performance aspect of this video, which I'm going to do like a browser test, transition test, and things like that. So it's going to be kind of hard to do this with like 3 fingers at one time, but I'm going to do my best. And not to mention the Moto X doesn't have a flat back, so it's going to make it a little bit more of a challenge. So I'm going to put these two together, put them together, and try to do this as fairly as possible. So we'll all go home and we'll go to the browser. I'm going to use Safari for the iPhones and then the Chrome browser for the Moto X because that is the only browser I have downloaded on this. So let's see. Let's try to do this all at one time. See how coordinated I am. Okay. So you saw the transition there. I'm going to back out one more time. Now these have home buttons. This has, the on-screen button, so that does make a difference with how things are performed. I think I pressed that one a little late, but they're about the same. And I'm going to go to my website, bane-tech.com. But I'm not going to hit go until I have it all loaded up. Okay, so I got it all loaded up, bane-tech.com. Check it out when you get a chance. Let's see if I can get all these pressed at the same time. Well, we'll do iPhone test first. So it seems like it was almost, I don't know, it's kind of like a tie between the iPhones, because this one popped up faster, but it got finished loading faster on the iPhone 5. So that was interesting. I'm going to hit the back button, try to get this loaded up, and hit the back button again. Now everything should be like basically cached. Alright, let's try this again. Go up here. Alright, let's try this again. This is really hard to do with 3 phones at one time. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, look at the Moto X. Moto X definitely won that one. Let's do something really easy and just do some on browser kind of stuff. So I'm going to hit the same story here, the Exposed Framework Series Instagram downloader story. See how these guys do. Ooh, Moto X. iPhone 5 won that one. The Moto X popped up the story faster, but there's a status bar across the top, and I think I saw, correct me if I'm wrong, but I saw the iPhone 5 finish first. It seems like these two tied. So let's see, let's actually go to the video player. 1, 2, 3. So it seems like the Moto X won that one again.
Hey guys, Josh from Bane Tech, and this is another installment of the Exposed Framework.
So that was pretty cool that the Moto X won that battle. Let's do some other stuff, like just basically transition things. I'm going to hit the home buttons again and see how it does. I know that the iOS 7 now has, like, in my opinion, a slower transition. It actually aggravates me a bit. And with Android, you can twist that around a little bit, which I have not done. I didn't press that one. But you can kind of see how slow that goes. Alright, let's do page scrolling, just to kind of show you how it does. Alright, so another test that it's kind of hard to do, but I'm going to do a benchmark test. I know benchmarking has been kind of shunned off a little bit because of Sammy. Blame Sammy for that, because of their tweaking. But anyways, we're going to do the quadrant standard on the Moto X, because I couldn't find a similar or the same app, so we're just going to try to do the best comparison as possible. So we're going to hit run benchmark on all of these and try to see how they do. So it seems like this benchmark test is a lot faster. It doesn't go through all these 3D stuff, so we might have to try to find another one. But for the sake of just letting it do its thing, I'm just going to let it do its thing. Just for kicks and giggles. And I apologize if you don't like bird chirping in the background. I'm actually trying to do like a more outside scenic kind of thing and just kind of change the atmosphere of how I do my videos. I know this is a white background, but I had to be able to put all the devices down and do everything at one time. So here's the results. My device, way over the 1X, Transformer Prime, some of these kind of smaller devices now. Down at the bottom is a Samsung Nexus S. Who's heard of that device lately? Here's some of the different specs that you can see, the designated testing for benchmarks and whatnot. We got this guy over here, seems like Seems like the iPhone 5S definitely does better than the iPhone 5, and I did two. Let's just do 3 tests just for the heck of it. And it definitely seems like it's double. So iPhone 5S definitely does better than the 5. And it's hard to say, you know, how it compares to with the Moto X because it's just different, different kind of test. So there's your benchmark test if you wanted to look at it, see what it looked like. You can see at least that this device, the Moto X, did 8,354 compared to what these guys do with these kind of tests. Another test that I think would be fun to do would be actually a sound test. So crank the volume up on all of these and see if you can tell if there's a difference between each one. I know that the Moto X I'm going to have to turn over to the back because the speaker is on the back, but the speakers on the iPhones come out from the bottom. So let's go ahead and go to one of my YouTube videos and see how it does. So for this I'm going to use a decibel meter test, or meter. For this I'm going to use a decibel meter and put it right next to the iPhone, see how it does.
Hey guys, Josh at Bane Tech. I've got DBA cases, ultra complete case for the Galaxy Note 2. This is a 2-layer style case. You get an outer polycarbonate shell, then you have a TPU inner skin. And what's cool about this is that you can go over their website and you can mix and match a ton of different colors.
I'm going to skip to some music part. So it seems like 70 decibels seems to be the happy medium. Okay, so got past the ad, putting up the volume as you can see, and I'm going to put it right next to the iPhone again.
Hey guys, Josh at Bane Tech. I've got DBA cases, ultra complete case for the Galaxy Note 2. This is a 2-layer style case. You get an outer.
Go ahead and skip to the music part. Seems to be hugging around the same area. Let's do one more little test.
Be sure to follow Bane Tech and DBA cases on the social networks, Facebook, Twitter, Google+, and Instagram. Please subscribe.
Alright, put the speaker next to this one here too. So that's pretty interesting. It seems like the iPhones have pretty much the same speaker. Okay, so we got the iPhone decibel meter popped up here. It's going to be a little bit different test because the speaker's on a different place, but I'm just for the sake of somewhat trying to be fair, you know, microphone's going to be somewhat down towards the bottom, so I'm going to put it over here. I'm going to turn the Moto X on the back because the speaker's on the back and go from there.
Hey guys, Josh at Bane Tech. I've got DBA cases,
Obviously very
ultra
louder.
complete case for the Galaxy Note 2.
That's obviously
This
much
is a
louder.
2-layer style case. You get an outer polycarbonate shell, then you have a TPU inner skin.
Skip to the
And what's
music
cool about
part.
this is that you can go over their web.
So obviously the Moto X wins with the speaker test, and it probably has a lot to do just because it's Motorola for one. They always do pretty well in the speaker department, but that speaker definitely outperforms these iPhones by far, and the iPhones are basically the same. So another little test that I like to do is just a simple typing test. And I've always actually enjoyed the typing experience on an iPhone. I do like the keyboard a lot. So let's just do one sentence testing this keyboard. So it does work pretty good. No complaints. Now obviously with Android it's going to be a little different because it's a completely different keyboard, or you can download multiple types of keyboards. This is SwiftKey. Which has always been my favorite. So, I mean, typing is always pretty good. And with the screen sizes, you know, obviously these are 4-inch screens. This one's a 4.7-inch screen. But I'm coming from a Note 3 from using it a while. So it's going to be a little bit challenging for me because it is a smaller screen and I got bigger hands. But, you know, I've started to get used to this Moto X. And I kind of got used to it back again, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I do like how the keyboards on the iOS system is. It's just a nice standard keyboard, and I like SwiftKey as a keyboard, but they all seem to do pretty good. Now, as far as like the stock Google, that one works better than, like, in my opinion, than what the Samsung did. But overall, we're not talking about Samsung. I'm almost kind of like put them off to the side. They're on the back burner, in my opinion, for a little while now until they kind of redeem themselves in some areas. That's for another video. But I hope that you guys have enjoyed this comparison video, this kind of versus each other kind of stuff. iPhone 5 versus the 5S versus the Moto X. There's some basic tests, some, you know, specs comparisons and whatnot. I had the chance to put all these next to each other, so I wanted to take advantage and do this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, please give a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so you can see more videos like this. Stay tuned for some extra footage with some comparison between the iPhone 5S and Moto X camera and video capture. So this is a test video with the iPhone 5S on the left hand side and the Moto X on the right hand side. Just kind of give you a comparison, do a little panning action, go back and forth, let you see what it looks like. Let you see my little boy. Hey Joe, say hi. Say hi. So that's just a quick comparison, side by side, of how the video goes.